What are some of the criteria that you use as an analyst to evaluate players today?
It's a good question. I think I look at the game, each individual game, and see if I'm watching an individual player. I want to see how he integrates himself into the game. Is he a factor? How is he handling the puck? Do you notice him a lot? I mean, if it's on television, it's different than in person naturally, because you're confined on television to watching what they're showing you at any time, and he may be doing something really good or really bad over here that we don't see. So that's a little bit different. So if I'm watching on TV, it's almost how much do I see him? How much do I hear his name, and what's he doing when he has the great scoring chances? What's he doing defensively? But I like to watch the one-on-one matchups. That's always been my thing in the game. You know, great offensive players against skilled defensive guys, experienced guys taking advantage of inexperienced players and schooling them a little bit. And it's not always about turning them inside out one-on-one or anything like that, but just smarts on how to get open, and how the Brett Hulls and the Luc Robitailles and, you know, the Brendan Shanahans, and of course now the Ovechkins and the Crosbys, how they get open. And those guys in particular, the new ones that is, like Ovechkin and Crosby and Malkin, to me are the most exciting players, because they have such a passion for the game and play at such an incredible pace to the game now, which was different than what we played. They go so much faster than we did. You watch the old tapes and you can see it. It's just the evolution of the game. But I think when it comes to scoring goals, especially now too, Ovechkin, in my mind, has been one of the major changers of the game. I think he's changing the way players around the entire National Hockey League think about scoring goals. And that's terrific to me. The sheer passion and the sheer joy that he shows when he jumps up against that glass after he scores a goal, or even when he does it when a teammate scores. That is a really important thing, because scoring a goal has to be about passion, first of all. You have to think you're a goal scorer. You want to be a goal scorer. I've seen Luc Robitaille talk about it, and Luc always had that passion. I loved it. And you can see it come out in him when he talked about it, even after he retired. And I always loved that about him. You knew that his mentality was, I'm going to score. Even if I'm in a slump, I'm going to score. I'm going to find a way. And I'm convinced that goal scorers, they just will the puck into the net eventually. And that's the difference between them and guys like me, who wanted to score or scored once in a while, but couldn't get it done, the rest of the time.
So confidence is a big part of the game.
It's really not everything, but it's close to it. You have to have the skills. You have to be taught what the game is really like, to play by the clock and the score. That's mainly the two things that you're taught. And then you have to have confidence that you can get it done. If you're a stay-at-home guy, and some of the teams I played on, I was a stay-at-home guy, and I didn't get involved very much in the offensive zone. You have to take pride and have a passion about the way you play your game. And for me, a lot of nights, that was about blocking shots. And I knew if I blocked a really good shot, a slap shot, or a close-in play, in my mind, I'm saying that one had a good chance to go in. So that's a goal for me. It's a way to register positives for yourself. And I would use that. I think you need an affirmation if you're a defensive player to keep you going, because you're seeing everybody else score goals and get good offensive chances, and you don't seem to be out there in those situations to give yourself an opportunity. And so you have to find a way to generate that constant emotion and high level of play at the pro level, because without that, you won't get to play, and you'll be right there on the end of the bench or sitting in one of those seats up there, and then you've got a real problem.
Yeah, I think that you make a great point. I think, especially with young players, the game is so goal-oriented in offense, and you've got to find your role on a team and make that work for you as a player, because there's a lot of players that play in the NHL that, aren't the goal scorers. They're not the guys that get the awards at the end of the season, but they're all huge role players.
Ask any Hall of Famer. Doesn't matter what his position is, but especially if he's a goal scorer, that they know that it's not 20 guys or 18 guys that are all goal scorers that make up any winning team. It never is. You need tough guys, you need role players, you need defensive specialists, you need guys who kill penalties, you need character people in your room that maybe can't compete offensively the way you or one of your other teammates can, but he's so valuable because he's such a hard-nosed competitor that in the dog days of January and February, when games are on the line, he's got that look about him and that feel about him that helps put everybody else in your team up another notch and lets you win those critical games. So those are all factors that you need from players, you know, in order to be a great team.